All right. So, spine. Let me get my character back up. Opening up my final. Let me find my notes. Not sure which book it's in. There it is, page 101. See how handy this is? Boom. Yay. All right. So, I'm going to focus my camera here. I'm going to make my joints a little bit smaller. Display, transform, not transform, animation, joint size. And I'll do 0.35. Just as a temporary thing. All right, now, what we're going to do for this, oh, by the way, and some of you saw this or heard this already. I'm this close to having the quiz completed and ready. I'm making it from scratch online because I'm tired of. It's such a simple thing and nobody has it simple. So it's like, oh, you can only create 10. Well, I created 9 and then I deleted one and I created another one. And that means I've only created 9. But no, you're counting it as 10 because I deleted one. Okay, anyway. All right, so what we're going to start off with is we're going to create a new kind of spline of IK handle. And that is the spline. Or actually, it's just called a spline IK handle. Okay. So, Shanissa, I got a response from FA. They said that you're all set. She's removing the note. So, all right. So I'm going to go to my rigging menu set. And again, this is under skeleton. And right below what we've created in the past, where it says create IK handle, it says create IK spline handle. And I'm going to go to my options box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off auto simplify curve. This is an important part of this. And what this is, it says IK spline. A spline is a curve, right? So they're one and the same. They're the same name. They mean the same thing, right? If you have auto simplify curve on, I have a straight line. It's going to try and create this as simply as possible. And the thing is, we want a good level of control. So we don't want it to be simple. We want it to be a little bit more detail and smooth and rounded curve and all that stuff, right? So we want to turn that off. And I'm also going to select, no, I'm going to leave that on. I want to show you what happens with this. I'm going to leave auto parent curve on. All right. So that's my settings. It's simply turning off auto simplify curve. I can't create it here. It's a tool, which as with other IK handles is a 2-click process. So I'm just going to close that with those settings activated. Now, I do not want to do my main joint here. Don't do the main joint here. Don't click on the cog. Do not do this. I have to say it 17 times because every time I do, somebody does it from here. You don't want this to be a part of your spine, okay? Do it from the first joint up. Click, and then a double click, or a second click, not double click, but second click, You want this one at the base of the neck, okay? Don't go into the neck, go to the base of the neck. Now, I click that. There's my IK handle sticking out the back. If I hit 4 for wireframe, you can see it going through the joints. I'm going to hide, for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to hide the shirt. So this is what that looks like. You can also, if I go into my joints, right, there's my cog joint. You can see it says curve 1. This is the spine curve that it just created, right? So you can see that in there. If I hide joints, hide geometry, hide IK handles, there's the curve, right? And it's a regular old curve. I can go in and select the vertices, right? And I can move them around. Here's the thing. If I select the vertices and I show my joints, you'll see that the vertices, the curve shape, is what controls the joint positions, right? And because the skeleton is controlling the mesh, it's controlling the mesh, right? So what we're going to do with this, I'm going to hide the I'm not sure if I like how many CVs there are on this. So I'm going to, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of CVs here. I'd like a few more. I only have a few, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? I only have a couple more than the number of joints that I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rebuild this curve. Okay, I'm going to recreate this curve similar to what we've done in the past. This is under the modeling menu set. Go under curves, rebuild. This is up to you as to whether or not you want to do this. It's not required. I do not want 32 spans. That would be way too much detail, right? I have 8 CVs along here. Let me just reset this. And I'm going to do, I'll do 12. Let's see how that goes. And just kind of look at this. And it's a little bit more detailed. That might be a bit too much. I might go with 10. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Right? Again, this is up to you as to whether or not you want to do this. It's just a matter of, you don't want to go too much, but I wanted a little bit more than what I had. So I have mine set to 10. Now, what I want to do with this curve is, like I said, the CVs control the joints. I use a soft select. You can see that even better, right? The CVs control the joints. Technically, the curve controls the joints, but the CVs define the curve shape. So there you go. So what I'm going to do here, I can't control the CVs. I can't move the CVs through any kind of direct control system, right? What I need to do is I need to create controllers that can control the CVs. Is this making sense? Right? I need something to control the CVs because I can't grab them directly. Know what I mean? Okay. So I need something to control the CVs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this curve and I'm going to go to, it's a weird place that they have this. It's under the select menu. And I'm going to go to cluster curve. And what that does is it creates these little cluster handles that are technically deformers. You can also find under deform cluster, right? If you wanted to make an individual one. right? These are deformers that can be grabbed, and these are, you know, the pivot is down here, but these do control the curve. Now, so each one of those CVs now has a cluster assigned to it, so I can actually select those in groups. And, you know, move that curve like that, right? Okay. So now that I have those cluster deformers, what I want to do is I want to, maybe I should have done this first. But what I want to do here is I'm going to show you what happens here. I have the curve in there. Give me the cluster. Well, I'll do that later. That's okay. So what I want to do, you'll notice I have 13 cluster handles, right? I'm going to select all of these, and I want to go in, or excuse me, I'm going to select the first one. I'm going to select the first handle, and what I want to do is I want to go into the attribute editor, and under the cluster 1 tab or node, right, in the attribute editor, in this cluster attributes, there's a little checkbox that says relative. Okay. Now, I want to go into each of these and deselect relative. Okay. I'm going to show you why a little bit later, but I can't do these all at the same time unless there is a way. If I go to select all of these like this, I can go into the Windows General Editors attribute spreadsheet. Okay, this attribute spreadsheet, I don't know if I've shown you this before, but it's basically similar to, looks like an Excel spreadsheet. And it has everything that you have selected, and it has all of the attributes of that. This is the main attribute, right? If I go to shape, there's that, transform, translate, rotate, scale, render, tessellation, geometry, all. Here's all. If I go to all, I'm looking for relative. I can also do a search. Relative. It's not showing up. Why is it not showing up? Let me see if maybe it's not under here. Huh. It's not here. I could have sworn it was here. Well, if it was here, all I could do was highlight all of them and hit 0 or type off and hit enter, and it would undo them all. Well, it's not. All right, so screw it. All right, so we need to go to each one individually. Let me get back to where I left off. Cluster 4, cluster 5, cluster 6. If you select the first one, it shows all of them. If you select the fifth one, it only shows from 6 through 13. So you want to select the first cluster and just deactivate each of these individually. And again, I'll show you why a little bit later. We have to do some setup before I can show you what the problem is. But you want to make sure to turn off relative on that, okay? So So I have my three controllers, and what's going to happen is each of these controllers are going to select a group of curves. A group of clusters. Sorry, I was thinking I was missing something, but I'm not. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to start to cluster these things together. Okay. So when I rotate when I move these, it's going to move those first three. So I'm going to group those, and I'm just going to call that lower torso underscore GRP. And then I'm going to select the next few. How many do I want? I think that'll do. Those four here. I'm going to group those. I'm going to call that the mid torso underscore GRP. And then I'll take the rest. And I can always reposition, like I can always move. If I find that 8 should really be in the mid torso group, I can just reparent it. It's not really that hard to deal with. So I'm just going to group those last few and do upper torso GRP. All right, so I've made these groups. I'm going to save as it's break time, and this is going to be version 23. Go to break. Right.